Hi guys, I'm Joni from Champ Camp and I'm super excited to be here with you today to be sharing with you a quick, fun, all levels yoga class. All you'll need is your mat, so grab it and let's get started. Today we're going to be starting by sitting either on your butt or on your knees, whatever's most comfortable. If you have yoga blocks and you would like to use them, you totally can, but not necessary. So we're going to start off by noticing our breath, also noticing how you feel, if there's any points of tension or stress that you feel in your body. I know for me, I've been feeling a little tense lately. This is the second month of quarantine. So I found that in my yoga practice, I can find some peace and stillness, and I hope that you can find that too today. So we're going to start by taking a really big inhale, seeing if we can sip in a little bit more at the top, and exhaling. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, and exhale. One last time. Inhale, and exhale. This time when we inhale, we're going to lift our arms up over our head. And exhale, bring them back down. Inhale, arms over our head. This time as you exhale, just leave them there and release your fingers. Take a big stretch. Try to reach to the top of your head. And then with your next inhale, side bend to the right. So you should be feeling a nice stretch on your left side. If you want to, you can grab your left wrist with your right hand. And then come back to center. Stretch up through the center again. And then exhale to the left. You should be feeling a nice stretch on your right side through your right ribs. It helps to grab your opposite wrist. And come back to center. Take one last inhale, reach up, and exhale, release your hands. So now we'll be moving into tabletop position. So we're going to be placing our hands beneath our shoulders, knees beneath our hips, and we're going to move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So our cow stretch is going to be sticking our butt up in the air, looking up, putting a little bend in our back, and then our cat stretch is going to be rounding our back like you would see a cat doing. Inhale to your cow pose, look up, exhale, cat. 2 more times. Inhale, cow pose, exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale to a neutral spine, so your back is pretty much flat. And now from our tabletop position, go ahead and extend your right leg back. Lift it up off the floor, and then lift your left arm up straight ahead of you. And just breathe. You want to try to get your right leg and left arm into a straight line. And with your next exhale, bring your left elbow and your right knee to touch in the middle. And then extend back out. Back to the middle. Extend back out. 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Extend back out. 2 breaths in this position. Really try to reach through either limb. And with your next exhale, come back to center. And breathe. Extend your left leg back. Lift it up off the ground. Extend your right arm forward. Take a couple breaths. Try to find stability. Inhale, bring your elbow and your knee to touch each other. Exhale, stretch out again. Back to center. And out again. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Try to reach as far as you can through either limb. 1 more breath. And exhale, release. From this tabletop position, we're going to push back into our first downward dog. And since this is the first downward dog, take your time to walk out your dog. Feel what you're feeling. Stretch out a little bit. I'm a little stiff, so definitely going to pedal my feet out to try and help get me ready for the rest of practice. We're going to be here for 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, lift your heels up, bend your knees, and walk to your hands to the top of your mat. And fold down. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, release your hands. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, release down and fold. With your next inhale, we're going to do a halfway lift, so put your hands on your shins. Try to get your back as flat as possible. And then exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. And see if in this down dog, if you feel any different. We're going to be here for 3 breaths. Your next inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and step to the top of your mat. Fold. Inhale, come up. Reach up. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to step our left foot back, drop our left knee down, and come up into a low lunge. With your next exhale, hands back down to the mat. To lift your back knee up and step back to down dog. Take a deep breath. And with your next inhale, lift your left leg up, step it through, and come up to a high lunge. This is also called crescent lunge because if you back bend far enough, you look like a crescent moon. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step your back foot to the front, and fold. Inhale, come up, reach up. Exhale, release your hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, this time you're going to step your right foot back, drop your right knee down, and come up to a low lunge. Exhale, release your hands down to the mat, step back into down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Come up into a high lunge, crescent lunge. Any amount of back bend that you can do. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step your back foot to the front. Fold. Inhale, come up, reach up. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot lifts. Exhale, step it through. We're gonna put our back knee down, come back into a low lunge. Reach up. And this time with our exhale, we're going to interlace our fingers, push them in front of you and round your back like we were doing in cat pose a little while ago. Try to tuck your tailbone, chin to chest. Try to breathe into your back ribs. Then inhale, reach back up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back this time into a plank pose. Try to be one long straight line. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, we're gonna come into locust pose, so your hands back by your hips. Try to lift your feet up, your chest up, your arms up. Try to look up. Exhale, release your feet. Put your hands underneath your shoulders, come up into a cobra pose. And then exhale back to down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Drop your back knee down to a low lunge. Come up. Interlace your fingers. Pretend like you're trying to push a wall in front of you away. Tuck your tailbone, round your back, chin to chest. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back into plank. Lower all the way down. We're gonna do locust again. Try to lift your legs up, your chest up, your arms up. Release your feet back down. Hands under your shoulders. Cobra pose. And exhale back to down dog. Two breaths. The great thing about doing yoga at home is that you can make a bunch of weird noises to let all that air out when you exhale. With your next inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Come up to a high lunge this time. Crescent lunge. Exhale, open up into warrior two. So you're gonna spin your back heel down. Those toes are gonna be facing the long side of your mat. Both arms reaching in either direction. Front knee is bent, looking out over your right hand. Inhale, flip your front palm. We're going to reverse our warrior, so lean back, keep the front knee bent. Your back hand can be on your hip, down your thigh. And then exhale, we're gonna come into side angle pose. So your right knee can come onto your your right elbow can come onto your right knee, or down to the floor, or your ankle, and your left arm reaches up and over. Breathe. With With your next exhale, look down. Plant your left palm down, spin your left heel up, and twist to the right. Right arm reaches up. And exhale, right arm comes down. Step back into plank. This time, you can lower down all the way to the floor or come halfway down into a chaturanga and then into up dog or cobra. And then exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Come up into a high lunge. Exhale, open up into warrior two on the other side. Your right foot should be facing the long side of your mat, or your right toes, I mean. Reach out through either arm. Flip your front palm up and reverse your warrior. And then exhale into side angle pose. Left elbow to left knee, left arm to the floor or your ankle, and right arm reaches up and over. Look up if you can and breathe. Exhale, right arm comes down. Right heel spins up and we open up into our twist on the left side. Exhale, release your left hand down. Step back into plank. Again, lower all the way down to the floor or chaturanga halfway down. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, step to the top of your mat. Fold. Inhale, come up. Reach up. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up again. Exhale, arms back down to your side. So from a standing position, this time we are going to keep our feet a little bit farther apart and ground down through our right foot, our right leg, and lift your left heel up, bring it up, take your left palm and place it on your left thigh, press down through your left palm but resist with your left thigh. You want to try to get your hips as square as possible. And then from here, open up your left leg, left hip, and come into a tree pose. Reach your arms up. You can be like a tree in the wind, or you can be a still tree, whatever works for you. And then release your left leg, bring it back to the front. And we're going to tilt forward and come through a warrior three position. And then try to step your left leg as far back as you can and come up into a high lunge. Open up into warrior two. Reach through both arms. This time when you flip your palm up and you reverse your warrior, we're going to straighten our front leg and prepare for triangle pose. So exhale, reach forward and come into triangle. Left arm reaches up, look up. With your next exhale, look down. Spin your right toes to the long side of your mat. Come up, hands on your hips, look up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. You can release your palms down to the mat and breathe. Feel free to add a slight bend to your knees and move however feels nice. On your next inhale, you're going to come back up. This time you're going to spin your left toes out a little bit and come down to lunging onto your left side. Feel free to lift your right toes if that's accessible. Open up, twist a little bit, and then we're going to come right into side angle pose. So your right toes, turn them to face the front of your mat, come back up, straight into side angle. Exhale, release your hand down to the mat. Come into your twist. Right hand to the mat again. Come back up into a high lunge. And then lean forward. Come through a warrior three position again. And then come back to where we first started. And release. Now that we're going to do that on the other side. So ground down through your left foot, your left side. Lift your right heel. Lift your right leg up. Push down on your right thigh with your right palm and resist to square your hips. Open up your right hip. Come into a tree. Be whatever kind of tree you want to be, if that's a tree in the wind or a still tree or hands to prayer. Release your right foot, come back, and then tilt forward, come through a warrior three position on your way down to your high lunge. Exhale, open up, warrior two. When we reverse our warrior this time, we're going to straighten the front leg so we can prepare for triangle. Exhale, triangle pose. Your next exhale, look down at the ground. Spin your left toes to the long side of your mat. Come up. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Feel free to sway back and forth. Bend your knees if you want to. Come back up, release your arms. Spin your right toes out this time and lunge down to the side. Bringing the left toes up if you can, opening up into a little twist. And then we're coming right back into side angle, so make sure your left toes are going to be able to face the front of your mat. Come right back up, side angle. With your next exhale, look down, right palm to the mat, spin your right heel up, come into your twist, left hand reaches up. Exhale, left hand down, come up into a high lunge. And then exhale, lean forward, come through your warrior three position. Inhale, back up. And release. From the standing position at the top of your mat, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come back up. Reach up. Exhale, release your hands. Step your feet about hip distance or mat distance apart. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bend over. See if you can pick up just your big toes, not all your toes, just your big toes, and reach down and grab them with your peace fingers. and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Try to get your back flat. And then exhale, we're going to be squatting down, but we're gonna try to go as slow as possible. So see if you can go a quarter of the way down, then halfway down, then 3/4 of the way down, and then all the way down, and look up. We're gonna come right back up, but we're gonna try to go as slow as possible. Halfway, almost there, and then fold. We're gonna go through that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, as slow as possible. Look up. And then back to standing. In fold. Come up. Squatting again. And then back up. Fold. Release your toes. And come back to your squatting position one more time. Open your arms and look up. Try to put your hands in front of you. Bring your knees to your armpits. If you have crow in your practice, feel free to come up to crow. If you don't, just practice putting weight in your palms. Don't have to lift your toes off the ground. But if you feel comfortable, come up into crow. And breathe. And from crow, we're gonna step back into a plank position and lower all the way down. And from our bellies, take a deep breath. Exhale. Bend your knees. Hands down by your side. Take another deep breath. Try to grab either your feet or your ankles. Get a nice quad stretch. And if you can, come up into a bow pose. Try to push your shins back. And see if you can lift your chest up. Exhale, release. 2 deep breaths. We're going to do that one more time. Bend your knees. Reach back. Grab your ankles or your feet. Lift your chest up. Try to push away your shins. Look up. Exhale, release. Inhale. Hands come underneath your shoulders. Come up into up dog or cobra. And then exhale back to down dog. Take 2 deep breaths in this down dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and step through to a seated position. From this seated position, we're going to come into a boat pose. So bring your heels off the ground, and you can either do straight leg boat or bent knee boat. And then we're going to come down into a low boat. See if you can hold it for 2 breaths. And then right back up into boat. One more time, low boat. Up into high boat. And then lower all the way down. And from laying down on your back, plant your feet, bend your knees, plant your feet. We're gonna come into a series of back bends. So we're gonna start off with bridge. From a laying down position and your knees bent, feet flat on the ground, lift your hips up however much you can. If you want to, interlace your fingers beneath your butt and push up. If you have yoga blocks, a supported bridge pose is totally awesome too. And when you feel ready to come out of it, lift your heels, put your arms over the top of your head and slowly come down. If you have a wheel in your practice, now would be a great time to do it. We're gonna do one more bridge pose. Inhale, lift your hips. And when you're ready to come out of it, lift your heels and slowly come down. Bring your knees into your chest and hug yourself into a tight little ball. And then release your left foot forward. Right knee stays hugged in. And then cross it over your body for a nice little twist. Look to your right. Then inhale, come back up. Squeeze both knees into your chest again. Tight little ball. And then release your right foot. Left leg crosses over. Look to your left. Come back to a tight little ball. And then exhale. Release all the way down. Lay on your back and get ready for Shavasana. If you have the time for it, stay in Shavasana from anywhere to 2 to 10 minutes. It's a great way to end your practice. I'm so happy I got to be with you guys today. Thank you very much. Have a great day.